is it important to have trust?
Trust is really, and Patrick Lencioni actually does an excellent job of laying this out. If you haven't read his book, The Advantage, I like to refer to that as the field manual of leadership. Read that. And he does an excellent job of pointing out that the foundation of every great team is trust, plain and simple. Leaders tend to focus on results. Well, leaders are responsible to get results, but we get those results by marshaling our resources, our human resources, and leading people to results. And if people do not trust the leader, if they do not trust their teammates, things are not going to go well. Well, first of all, as leaders, we can all know at any given moment, our people exist in one of three different, we'll call them zones, right? And I have to give credit to Gonzaga University, where I learned this. But people live in three zones. That's it. So as a leader, you know your people are in one of three zones, or maybe emotional states, we could call it. The first zone we'll think of as the comfort zone. I perceive no threats where I am right now. The next zone that people get into, once we get out of our comfort zone, we enter what's called the growth zone or the stretch zone. This is really important because this is the only place where growth happens. You're not growing in your comfort zone. You're only growing in the growth zone. And what's fascinating to me, one of my favorite leadership books, is Help Them Grow or Watch Them Go. People want to grow. They want to be developed. So as a leader, it's in your best interest to keep people in that growth zone as much as possible. Continue to develop them, continue to nurture them. And as we expand, as we go through this growth zone and we start getting out towards the edge, we approach the panic zone. And once someone crosses over into the panic zone, all learning stops. Yeah, you can see the three zones right there. And while we progress from safety through growth into panic, we do not regress through growth. We pass over growth and go right directly to our comfort zone. The way I teach leaders to dial into this is what I call the 5 safeties. So you have 3 zones and 5 safeties. If one of these safeties is out of place, then people aren't going to move forward. So I just use my hand, as a memory device. Your pinky represents physical safety. If people do not feel physically safe, they're not going anywhere. There may be clutter in the office. There may be someone in the office who is physically threatening. Find out, first of all, are you physically safe? You know, what are your concerns here? And if they say, no, it's fine, I don't have any issues with that. Let's take a look at the next finger, our ring finger, which appropriately enough represents relational safety. Our brains are designed to identify threats. Friends are not threats. Enemies are. I think if you have the responsibility talent in your top 5, that's probably a significant trigger for you, because responsibility people get things done because of the relational aspect. If it doesn't go well, if I don't get it done, it's going to hurt my relationships. So establishing and creating relational safety is foundational to creating an environment of trust, right? Your middle finger, not surprisingly, represents respect. Instead of showing disrespect, use your middle finger to dial in on whether or not people feel safe when it comes to respect. In other words, if this doesn't go well, are you going to respect me? Directionally safe. Do you understand where we're going with this project, what the end result needs to look like, where you're getting your resources, who else is involved in the process? That is all part of directional safety. What are the values, mission, and vision of our organization? If those aren't clear, they create ambiguity. And that ambiguity is going to foster mistrust, a sense of insecurity. You can use your thumb up, I'm safe. Thumbs down, I'm not safe. So it's a quick way that you can check in on a team and say, hey, team, how are we doing? Is everybody feeling okay here today? Are we ready to move forward? Thumb up, yes. Thumb down, no. Be curious. Okay, tell me what's happening here. You know, now that requires then that we as a leader and the teammates that we have are vulnerable with one another. Um, and really, vulnerability I refer to as the fertile soil that allows trust to grow.
Mm.
And as a leader, you need to learn the skills of leadership and execute them.
Mhm.
So that, and part of that means, yeah, I've got to be vulnerable and I have to be willing to hear some hard things. We're going to lead out of our design, plain and simple. And which means every leader is going to lead differently. Then out of our design and how well we know these skills, the next piece of that puzzle is, how strong is my character structure? Do I have the ability to really face the demands of reality?